Okay, Jeff. So I gave you a very specific assignment to do. For those watching or listening, I instructed Jeff to come up with the scenario in which the Calgary Flames, finish with as few points as possible. That's realistic. So I guess their worst case scenario from a standings perspective. And I should emphasize the standings perspective. This isn't like a worst case scenario for the outlook of the team or something like that. Just if the Flames are going to get the fewest possible points in the standings that's realistically possible, how does that happen? Why does that happen? So I gave you that assignment, and I'm excited to hear what you have to present here to me today.
Yeah, so obviously the worst case scenario, not points aside, not by points, is to me like just missing the wild card, right? But even then you get a lot, right? Even then you get your first round pick is a lottery pick, so I don't know, but that's like the worst case scenario is they get to the last playoff spots, they get a wild card spot or something. Right? Worst case scenario, points wise, was fun because you chose me because I'm doomer, because I'm the doomer guy. I'm pessimistic, so this was fun. I enjoyed doing this. I'm going to enjoy talking about this. I have a 3-pronged approach.
Oh, okay.
Right? I have 3 prongs.
Excited for the 3 prongs
to build my case on. I did 3 prongs because I just watched the Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode. You know the one, right? So him and Rosa are on trial. We have a 3-pronged approach, 3-pronged defense. So
Aquaman had 5 has prong and 5 prongs though. That's not a trident. That's a pendant.
So I'll get into it. I think let's set the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's talk about the foundation part we're going to talk about. By and large, the Flames of 25-26 are going to look very similar to the Flames of 24-25. Right? They're going to look very, very similar. So we can, one might assume like, okay, so they're going to be the same as this year, right? This season the same as last year. Like, well, okay, hockey is an immensely high variance sport, right? Like of all the 4 major American sports, I've talked about this a lot. It has the highest range of outcomes for any team. Right? There's so much more randomness in it compared to baseball or basketball or football, right? So this exercise is kind of fun because you can kind of go pretty far and wide on what is the range of outcomes, even though it's the same group of guys, effectively, right? And I think they could be pretty bad.
I think the possibility definitely exists, which is why, like you said, it's like not just the fact that they are a hockey team, but this hockey team in particular has a wide range of outcomes, which makes this an interesting exercise.
It does make it. So should I just jump into my
what
do you think? What do you think? Before I get in, what do you think?
One caveat I told you yesterday, I wish I told you earlier, so I hope it didn't throw anything off, but I said no injuries. Just because that's pretty boring analysis.
Yeah.
And it can be applied to any team. It's not unique to this team, and I want to keep the conversation unique to this team. So
of course, if everyone gets, if everyone in the Flames gets injured, and you bring up the AHL team, right? Yeah. Okay, it's going to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I wanted to preface before you can get into it.
All right. Okay. Great. So I'm going to start first prong. On number 1, arguably the most important player on the Flames. Just got signed to a nice big contract. Good for him. Would love to chat to you about that contract. I saw your posts on Burning Takes with Thomas. I got to make sure I get the rebrand right. It's Sports with Thomas. And that's Dustin Wolf. That's Dustin Wolf, right? The runner-up Calder goalie, right? Had a great season. Right, great season, one of the best rookie goaltending seasons in the in the 21st century, right? Incredible, right? I don't think I looked into this. I didn't look all the way back to 2000, but I don't think a rookie has ever won Calder or a goalie ever won.
Steve Mason.
Steve Mason,
Blue Jackets.
Okay.
I can't remember the year, but it was
that even 21st century?
It was at least 15 years ago. At least 10 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Dustin Wolf, I want to look at Dustin Wolf first of all, and he's my prong for why the Flames will regress. My first prong, because goaltending has incredibly high variance, right? If you go on the hockey reference page for all these great goaltenders, like I was on Andrei Vasilevsky's, right? He has some bad seasons. He has lots of great seasons. He's consistently very good. Mm-hmm. But even, the greatest goalie in the last 15 years, Vasilevsky, he has bad seasons. Look at Sorokin, Ilya Sorokin, right? Last couple of years, he's kind of been a dud after being a runner-up in Vezina to the Swayman year, I think it was, or the Elmark year. He was runner-up.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah,
he was really good.
Runner-up, right? He's great, right?
And had a bad year, and I feel like he kind of bounced back last year. But
he did, right?
Yeah.
But goaltending has high variance. Looking at one season here, right?
For sure.
Dustin Wolf had a great season. He's a kid. He's young, right? So my first prong is Wolf regression, right? Regression to the mean or negative regression to being a bad goalie, right? And what I looked at was I looked at the last 10 NHL seasons. Who was the goalie on the all-rookie team, right? So I thought, okay, let's look at the best goalies in the last 10 years, right? Let's the best rookie goalies in the last 10 years, and let's look at who they are and how they've panned out since then, right? And
that's a good idea.
It's not great, right? And now Dustin Wolf, he has a better prospect, right? He had higher pedigree, and he had a better season than a lot of these guys. But a lot of these guys had great seasons and have kind of not done much. So I'm going to go back and we're going to go one by one.
Good idea.
So 23-24, the all rookie goaltender, Pyotr Kochetkov.
I think it's Pyotr Kochetkov.
Yeah. Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
It's too early to say, I think, right? Because that was the year before Wolf, right? Mm-hmm. Last year he had a more of a disappointing year, but he didn't even have the greatest of rookie seasons. He had a good rookie season, not the greatest.
Yeah. Right? And it's tough playing for Carolina.
It's tough playing for Carolina, absolutely. But year before that, Stuart Skinner.
Oh boy.
And Stuart Skinner had a great rookie year. I think he was runner-up Calder as well, right? Like he had an incredible rookie year. And as Flames fans, it's very easy to hate on Skinner because he sucks, right? He's not consistent. There's a reason that, we're joking about Carter Hart going to the Oilers now. There's a reason about this, right? So okay, well, all right, we're not worried about that. Year before that, this is where it helps Wolf's case here, Jeremy Swayman. Jeremy Swayman's been a very consistent goalie for the last few years. I mean,
he had a bad year last year.
He did have a bad year last year. He bounced. He had a couple of good years, and then he had a bad year last year. But got the big contract. Could be a good goalie. Year before that, and again, my pronunciation, Alex Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Like he's now a backup goalie. Right?
Yeah. If that.
Elvis Merzlikins, right? Was he bought out, or he was threatening buyouts? I think
something like that. I think he's still with Columbus, but
But I thought
he might be Columbus's backup now.
He's definitely their backup. He's definitely not starting. Or if he's not, he's
I think he's Columbus's backup.
Jordan Binnington, 18-19. Good goalie.
He's had some bad years.
But
he's come back. But
he's back, forth, right flush. He's also kind of stable, like it's Jordan Binnington, right? UC Saros, great goalie. Great goalie. Even UC Saros, if you look on his hockey reference, has had some down years.
Recently. Yeah.
Recently. Matt Murray, quintessential high and low guy, right? When he came in and he overtook Murray, he was incredible, right? And he's had some down seasons now, right? John Gibson, again, good player, right? And Michael Hutchinson, who was short-lived as a starting goalie in the NHL.
I feel like that's the weakest rookie on that.
Yes, yeah, he was the weakest rookie on this list. But anyways,
some really good goalies on there.
The point is, right, when you compare with the guys in the same season, right, it could be good. You could get a Swayman, you could get a UC Saros, right? You could get John Gibson, right? You could also get Stuart Skinner. You could get Michael Hutchinson, right? You just don't know. So my first prong is negative regression for Dustin Wolf, who was probably the most important player to the Flames' success last year.
I wouldn't even say probably.
Yeah.
Right.
The Flames last year, they finished. This is kind of getting into my next point. They finished. What was it? It was. They were the fourth worst. They were the fourth worst team at scoring last year. They weren't winning games because they were scoring. They were winning games because Dustin Wolf was keeping them in games. Yeah. Right? And Vladar season 2. So that's my first prong.
I really like that first prong because I feel like it illustrates two things. One, like how rookies can, or one, how like even the best goalies can have down years, like Vasilevsky and Swayman.
Yeah.
I heard one time
Sorokin has been he had some stud years there, right?
Mm-hmm. I heard this once and I thought it was a pretty good way to look at goaltending in the NHL. Is like there's probably like 5 or 10 like goalies who are like consistently top 10 in the league, and then there's like the 5 or 10 bottom worst backups in the league that just like get kind of cycled through jobs. And then there's like the 40 or 50 in between them. And so most goalies are just like one of those 40 or 50 that rotate a whole bunch, whether they're like 11 or 39.
Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. There's times where like Darcy Kemper should be out of a job and then he comes in and he's awesome. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I really like the going back to all
and like I don't think Wolf's gonna be bad. I don't want that to take, right? I don't think he'll be bad. I think by and large, a lot of the guys I looked at, they're good, right? They've been more good than they have been bad, right? Especially with how good Wolf was last year, right? I'm optimistic, but we cannot rule out that he could regress severely.
And I'm sorry if this is gonna step on one of your points here, and if it is, just let me know. But it's like I also feel like when people hear Dustin Wolf regression, like Wolf's biggest fans will be like, what do you think? He's going to be like an 895 all of a sudden? He's never been that bad before. No, that's not like what I'm saying. It's like what if he just regresses to like a 908 save percentage?
Well, I think he was 912 last year. Like he was good, but it wasn't like crazy.
But if there's just a slight amount of regression with all the 1-goal games the Flames won, like that could like have a cascading effect on it.
I think I saw, I don't have this correct on me, but I think I saw this a couple days ago. We were like 3rd or 5th or something like that in 1-goal games, right? So, you get 1 goal going the other way, right? You drop 4 points in a save percentage, 12 to 8. Like, that's big. That could be big. Yeah.
So great first prong. I enjoyed that. So let's move on to your second prong.
Yeah, that's the first one, right? The second one, putting it bluntly, the Flames can't score. They cannot score. They showed us last year that the Flames they could not score, right? We were the 4th worst team in the NHL in terms of goals scored, and we somehow made the playoffs with that.
Close to the playoffs,
thank you. Close to the playoffs. The 3 teams that were worse than the Flames at scoring last year, the Ducks, the Predators, and the Sharks. That's not good company to be in, right? Considering that those 3 teams were basement dwellers in their own right. So we looked at the goaltending side, and then I wanted to look at the scoring side, right? And what I did a little bit of analysis here, right? I looked at the Flames horses, right? The guys that you expect. Because really on any NHL team, you're looking at your top 6 forwards and your top 4 defensemen are the guys that are really going to be you're going to be pulling the carriage, right? And I wanted to say, based on past performance for these players, based on what we're projecting for these players, what's the range of outcomes here, right? Are we looking at each player as a positive regression candidate or a negative regression candidate? A good example of this for a positive regression candidate, as in when I say positive regression, I mean they're increasing, right? Or their impact is growing. Is Coronado. Young guy, lots of talent, high pedigree, growing. Just got paid, right? His trend line is going up. The opportunity there is to go up. On the contrary, we can take a player like Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri is going into his age 35 season, I think, right? His point total was down last year. His goal scoring was up. He had a very high scoring percentage or high shooting percentage. He's an extreme negative regression candidate, right? Like is old. Players get old. Players get worse when they get old. So anyways.
It's honestly shocking he put up a 30-goal season in his age 34 season.
It is, yeah. It is shocking, right? So I kind of went through each of the players in the team and based on how many points they had, based on how they did in the past, or just their makeup as a player and their situation. Do we expect them to be better or worse from last year? One by one, right? Trying to do this fairly, right? And then we're going to look at the worst case scenario of this, right? Nazem Kadri, I gave him a strong negative regression cat. He's going to be worse, right? I think age, he had the most goals ever as a Flame. He's a trade candidate too, right? We'll touch on trade candidates later, right? Just likely to go down. Jonathan Huberdeau, I was generous. I gave him a neutral score because there is always the opportunity. It's always just the last hope out there that he could return to his pre-Flame self.
Okay, have fun.
I'm not hoping for that. I don't expect it to, right? But also, he had 62 points in 81 games last year. Like, that's... I don't think it's going to get worse than that. I don't think so. I don't know. I hope not. He's only like 31, I think. I'm not expecting that.
So you had him as a neutral?
I had him at neutral.
Okay.
Mackenzie Weegar, I had him at neutral as well. He's been pretty consistent. He's in his prime, right? He's good last year. He's been good in the past few years as the Flame. I put him at neutral as well. Right? We don't expect him to be worse. Again, injuries happen, weird things happen, whatever. Coronado, like I said earlier, I had him as a growing player, a growing asset, could improve the goal scoring of the Flames. I'm going to rip through these because I know the whole team here, right? Blake Coleman, negative regression candidate.
Okay.
Age, playing style. We can't expect Blake Coleman to impact more than he did last year, which is on par for his seasons. I think he's 33 now. I think he's getting up there in age. Backlund, again, age, old dog, negative trend. I do not think he will continue on. Sharon Govich could be an increase, could be a more positive regression candidate. He had a down year last year. He's shown he could be a 30-goal scorer. He could jump up to that, or just increase from whatever it was, like 17 goals last year. I think, right? Not great. Rasmus Anderson again had a bit of a down year, so I said he could be a positive regression candidate because he's shown in the past to be a better player, and then last year he may have been injured. We saw that he wasn't as impactful. Flame could be good. Connor Zary, again, just like Coronado, young guy, just got paid, could be a potential scoring asset. And then some others that I added in. And you know what, the last two that I'll mention are Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, who had very down years last year. I put them as positive regression candidates. They could be better. Right? They show that they in the past they have the possibility to. So, anyways, my point though, we're banking a lot on Coronado and Zary. We're banking a lot on their growth because they were fine last year. They were good young guys last year. We're banking a lot on their growth, and there's a lot of potential decline, I'll say, in some key players.
Is what you're saying is like the guys you're expecting to regress will regress harder than the guys you're expecting to progress will progress. The regression candidates will regress more than the progression candidates for progress. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really trying to say that exactly. What I'm trying to say is if everything goes wrong.
Right.
So if there's a stronger likelihood that Kadri will get worse, a stronger likelihood that Huber will get worse. There's less of a strong likelihood that Coronado will be worse.
Right.
But my point is there are a lot of key assets on the Flames, a lot of first-line players that frankly will probably regress in terms of impacted points scored, right? So, and this is on top of a team that already couldn't score, right?
Yeah.
This team could not score. So
when you were initially going through it, you were like, it seemed pretty even on regression, neutral progression. Yeah. It was like, okay, so it stays the same, and
I'm doing the worst case
same
scenario,
as a really low scoring team.
When you have the next guy on, and it is going to do the best case scenario, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, one of the things that they should say is, like Coronado and Zary are young guys who've proven that they can play, and they could only get better. They could only get more impactful, right? I'm not making that case, right? Yeah. I'm saying, okay, well, they could just be what they are right now, right? Andrew Mangiapane had a 35 goal season with the Flames when he was like 23, 24 years old, right? And he regressed right back down to being
and never hit it again.
Never hit it again.
Yeah.
Right. That could happen to Coronado or Zary.
Yep.
Right. I'm not saying it will, but there are recent Flames players that have had, been on
similar tracks,
upward trajectories that have kind of fallen off, right? Like that.
Yep.
So that could happen with these guys too.
And so in the end, the Flames are, in your worst case scenario, are they the lowest scoring team in the league?
I don't know if they'll be the lowest scoring team in the league. Barring injuries, I don't know. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is they were fourth worst last year. I don't see it getting much better.
Yeah.
I don't. I see it, if anything, getting worse.
And in a worst case scenario, it's pretty close.
In the worst case scenario, like we're bottom 3 again.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Again. Yeah. Yeah. We made no additions.
Yeah.
We made no meaningful additions.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Would it? And I know I gave you the assignment for worst case scenario, but if let's hypothetically say the worst case scenario is your official prediction, and someone who's very optimistic were pushing back on this and were to say something like, well, what if, like, the Flames were really old last year? The most used players are all really old.
Yes.
What if even though it's the same group of guys, what if the makeup of who plays the most changes and more younger players play more and score more?
So those younger players are 2 guys. It's Coronado and Zary. There's no one else, right? We'll talk about Zane in a minute, right? But there's no one else, right? Like, are you gonna tell me that a young guy on the Flames is Sharon Govich? It's like 27. Like,
What about Frost and Farabee? How would you consider them?
Yeah, like I put them as potential growth candidates, right? Like they could, and now that they've had a full off season with the Flames, they're not season acquisition. They could certainly improve their output, but we can't bank on that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess what I was saying is, like, so the Flames' most utilized forwards last year were Coleman, or Huberdeau, Kadri, Coleman, and Backlund.
Yes.
What if this season it's like Zary, Coronado, Frost, and Farabee?
So then you're banking on a lot of guys with little experience.
Yep.
Right. Like, okay, then there's a lot of risk there, and Huberdeau, Kadri, Coleman, and Backlund, they're on the team, right? Unless they get injured or they get traded, which is another real candidate for Kadri and Anderson. Real outcome for Kadri and Anderson for their impact, their positive impact in the Flames not being there in the future is if they get traded, right? They're still going to be there. They're still going to be taking minutes. They're not there on the ice. So, and last year on the power play, we saw Coronado and Zary getting meaningful power play minutes all the time. So again, you're banking on growth, you're not really banking on extra time on the ice. Right?
Okay, great second prong.
That's the second prong.
Yeah.
And then the last prong, so I've kind of laid out the case how goaltending regression and scoring, I'll say scoring stagnancy, if not worse, right?
Sure.
There is the case for it to get better, but I'm doing the worst case.
You're doing worst case scenario. That's what I asked you to do.
And even I will say, even best case scenario for the Flames scoring, I mean, I don't see us being even a top 15 team for scoring. I don't see, even if Coronado and Zary, are great.
They're probably like best case scenario and probably like 20th best in goals scored, I'd say.
I agree.
Somewhere
right.
around
We're not just being a high goal scoring team. We're just being a team that's going to rely on good goaltending, which could regress. Right.
Which is why it was prong 1.
Yeah, that's why I was prong right. And then so that kind of segues into prong 3, which is the cavalry isn't coming. There's no cavalry. Craig Conroy and the Flames have been rumored and shown that they are more likely to trade away players than acquire players that are win now. Kadri and Rasmus Anderson are both on the trade block, right? That's been very, very public out there, right? They may get traded at some point in the season. Maybe Huberdeau, that's a really tough contract to move. Maybe Coleman, right? Maybe some of these are the guys that have a little bit of value.
The Flames are more likely to be trading away NHL talent than acquiring
exactly.
NHL talent.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, the cavalry isn't coming. We're not expecting to go out and acquire any help. And then someone might say, well, we've got the best defensive prospect in the NHL. We've got Zane. Oh my gosh. And yeah, he could be great. I hope he's great. I hope he's the second coming of Cale Makar, right? He's also a rookie. he's a kid. I saw you did a great post recently on Vernon Hicks Thomas comparing Zane with other highly touted top. I think it was top 5 ranked defensive prospects, right?
Yeah,
like Kale, Werenski, and all those.
Yeah, Kale, Werenski, Quinn, Hudson, and Dahlin. And it was the age of their NHL debut.
Right. And you were saying that he could come in and make an impact, right?
Yeah.
But he could come in and be one of those guys. He also could come in next year. He
Mm-hmm.
also could come in.
And Hudson was a year older. Basically.
Yeah. It's improper to bank on the addition of a rookie who was drafted ninth. Well, I was saying it like a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
Right. Drafted a year and a half ago to come in and be this great addition to the Flames to save them. That we can't be doing that here, right? If he's great, he's a value add this season. Awesome, love it. I'll be stoked. I'll buy a jersey. Can't be expecting that. So I don't think it's fair that we assume that it could happen. But anyways, and then the other thing for the Calgary isn't coming is I'll say you told me not to look at injuries, but I did look at injuries.
I didn't tell you that until yesterday, so that's fair.
Well, I'm not going to say until the Flames. The Flames are going to get injured. But
yeah.
What I will say, the Flames last year had the fifth least amount of games lost to injury out of all teams. So they were a very healthy team. Like what was the most major injury? Like
been Anthony Mantha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was going to say Sharon Govich missed a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Like really, by and large, we were a very healthy team. Actually, I have all the games played on my little sheet here. Like, yeah, like all the guys, they played 80 games, 77 games. We were, like I said, the 5th healthiest team in the NHL last year. We can expect negative regression because, again, we have old players too. Old players get injured more often, right?
Take longer to recover.
I don't think we can expect to have the same level of health, right? If you say we're average in terms of health, then that means we fall back 10 places and we lose a lot more games from NHL players to injury. We're calling up more AHL guys.
See, yeah, this is fine for this being your prong is fine. Yeah. I just didn't want you to be like, in the worst case scenario, Dustin Wolf gets hurt.
Exactly. I'm not doing that. No,
yeah.
Right.
This is a better way to approach.
He could. He wasn't hurt last year. He could get hurt this year.
Yeah.
Huberdeau played 81 games last year.
Yeah.
He could get hurt this year. He's old, right? Kadri, he's like 34 years old. He played 80. I think he played a full season last year. He played 82 games last year. He could get hurt, right? This could happen. So the third prong is essentially help isn't coming.
Yeah. So after looking into your 3 prongs, in a worst case scenario, do you have a rough point estimate and where they would be in the overall NHL standings and the Western Conference standings?
I do. I think a worst case scenario, it's tough to say the Flames will be the worst team in the Western Conference because there are some bad teams. We look at just last year, the Sharks had 52 points. Blackhawks had 61. And now they have some young guys that are coming up that are really good and they could increase that a lot. But especially the Sharks last year, they were historically very bad. It's tough to only get 52 points. It's also tough for an 87-point team, I believe, am I right? 96-point team to regress that many. I put them at worst case scenario, 70 to 75 points.
So,
and that's like a 4th worst in the West.
So that's worst in the West. 20 points less than last year.
That is, I say over 20 points worse than last year.
Yeah. And if they had got 75 points last year, where would they have been in the West?
If they got 75 points in the Central Division, that would have put them at 3rd worst, just above the Predators and the Blackhawks.
Okay.
There is a big gap there, I will say.
And then who in the Pacific?
And in the Pacific, only above the Sharks. So in the West, they would be the 4th worst team.
4th worst team. So about like the 8th worst team in the league?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I would say is their worst case. Really, that's even a generous worst case scenario because, again, like injuries happen, right? Or just guys don't perform. Everyone regresses. Wolf regresses. Could be lower, but Yeah.
I should pull up Nashville's drop off in points year over year.
Oh, that would be good, yeah, because they're comparable. See, like I don't want to drop the Flames. Say the Flames are going to be the worst team because they have NHLers. We have a lot of pros, right? Much as we want to hate on Huberdeau, he's a pro, right?
And they have a lot of other guys like that too.
I use him as an example. Right? There's a lot of guys. Like I went back to my list here, right? My positive negative regression candidate list here is a lot of good players. Mackenzie Weegar is a good player. He could be on Team Canada, right? He could be like the 7th defenseman on Team Canada. It's a good player, but we don't have the horses.
Yeah, but there's
no horses.
But the point being that like there's too many non horses but quality players to be the worst team in the league.
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly. Yeah. Right. So there's too many of you look at the Blackhawks, right? The Blackhawks, like they were terrible last year, right? Who the heck was Bedard playing with?
Right? And who's playing with him now to significantly
exactly that, right? And like the Sharks, okay, they've got some young top picks, right? Who's playing with? Right? I guess they made a couple of additions, but we have too many pros to be one of the worst teams, and that sucks because really what I'm essentially saying here is the worst case scenario isn't a top pick.
Yeah,
it's a good pick and a player that will probably help us.
It's a top 10 pick, but not a
top 10 pick.
It's not a top 5 pick. Yeah,
and that sucks.
I just wonder if maybe if in a truly worst case scenario, all this bad shit all happens at the same time.
Yeah,
I feel like the bottom really falls out because I just looked it up. So I feel like Nashville. What happened in Nashville last year was pretty much the worst case scenario for the Predators. Like
true,
all of their old guys couldn't score
That's
anymore. Saros had a down year. Yossi got hurt. They're an older
all
team.
The new acquisitions, they're all bums.
Yeah,
right.
And they had a 31 point drop off. They went from 99 points to 68. I feel like the Flames. You could make the argument that they're
you could. You're absolutely right.
Somewhat similar to the Predators in that they have a short, good goalie. They have a bunch of they have a very veteran core that struggles to score. So in a worst case scenario, is it too ambitious to hope for a 31 point drop off and the Flames finish with 65 points?
No, you're
not if
wrong.
Absolutely everything goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, 65. I said 70, 75. There's not much of a difference there, but you're right. The bottom could fall further than I'm saying.
65 points though would probably put you bottom 4 in the league. I think
it could.
Yeah,
it could. Yeah,
only above because when I kind of look at this, I kind of look at the teams I can guarantee the Flames would be better than.
Yeah,
and then the teams that they're guaranteed to not be better than. And when I look at best case scenario, I like to look at the teams they're guaranteed not to be better than and say they'll be better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And then with this, who are the teams they're guaranteed to be better than?
All right, let's do it right now.
Yeah. We can say
let's do the West first.
Let's
do just the West first. All right. We're gonna list every team or just name let's just name candidates the Blackhawks.
Do you think the Flames this season are a guarantee, an ironclad lock to be better than the Blackhawks?
So this is tied in because the Blackhawks could be a better team.
Exactly. So they could regress.
They could be a better team, right? And the Flames, and it could just be a scenario, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to guarantee that. I think the Flames will probably be better than the Blackhawks. What do you think?
I don't think it's a guarantee either.
That's not a guarantee.
If Bedard finds another step and just becomes a one-man show, the Blackhawks aren't going to be a team that makes the playoffs, but they'll be more competitive. And if everything goes wrong for the Flames, I could see. I think there's only 1 or 2 teams I'm willing to guarantee the Flames will be better.
All right, and who is that?
I'd say Pittsburgh because they're kind of trying to be bad.
I think that's fair.
And 2, maybe 3 teams. They're all out east. I'd say Pittsburgh, the Flyers, and the Islanders. And that's just because I feel like all three of those teams
Yeah.
are like pretty committed to rebuilding in this moment.
So let me just say real quick as well. I said the Flames would be 70 to 75 points, right? And that was my worst case prediction. There was no team in the East that finished below 76 points.
Interesting.
So if I say that, okay, the fourth worst team in the West, right? That's the fourth worst team overall.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay, that's still,
yeah,
that's a top, that is a top 5 pick if there's 70 to 75 points, considering how, basically off of how the points broke down last year.
I guess, yeah. And then that sounds about right to me. Because I think if I'm trying to separate like potential hope for McKenna versus what actually is in the realm of possibility, I think there's a possibility the Flames are like the third or fourth worst team in the league.
I think so.
I think it'd be very difficult for them to be the absolute worst or second worst team. But again, if everything hits the fan, I think third or fourth worst is possible.
I think the Ducks could be really bad too. Mm-hmm. Like the Predators could be bad. The Blackhawks could be bad. There's just so many teams that have such like low floors as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It depends on how some of the growth of a lot of those young guys happens, right? And how it impacts things. But yeah. So that's. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. Like I'm curious to see who your guest for the positive takes episode is, and then like I guess what they think. I think what I have pitched today is far more likely.
So aside from what I asked you to do, what are you putting that all aside?
Putting it aside.
What do you actually think is going to happen?
I think I don't think the Flames will be good. I think the Flames will miss the playoffs. I think the Flames will finish in the bottom 5 in the West. I think they will be somewhere between 75 and 80 points.
And so around that 8-ish, 8th worst.
Yeah, I think that's between 5 to 10 worst teams in the league. I think that's where they're going to finish because they have too many pros. I do think Wolf will regress. I do. He came in with pedigree as a prospect, but not this pedigree, not like Carey Price pedigree, which is what he was like last year, almost as a rookie, right? And he's not a big guy. Size matters as a goalie. I think he could be good, but I think he could be a bit more of a high variance goalie.
You think he could be, but to return to what I talked about when we were talking about with him, of those middle tier goalies, you think he could be an upper tier of that middle tier kind of?
I think it's more likely that than he is a Vasilevsky.
Right.
Or a Carey Price. Yeah, or a Shesterkin.
And one of the reasons I like the contract was because if he becomes that's still
a good contract. Yeah. That is right. And frankly, I think it'd be better for the team if he was. Mm-hmm. If he, because like Darcy Kemper was a Vezina finalist last year, mm-hmm. right? And the year before that, he was benched, right? That's okay. You can win games with these types of goalies. You can win cups with these types of goalies, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Right now, the Flames are not suited to be winning a cup right now. So, we got a pretty good goalie who could be high variance on a good contract. Gives you some time to grow the rest of your roster.
No.
Right?
No, I think that's I like that.
So I've outlined all of this.
Yeah.
My take for the Flames this year.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think will happen to the
What
Flames?
do I think will happen?
What do you think will happen to the Flames this year? Or do you want to save that for your next podcast?
I'm going to save that because I'm going to do a most likely show.
Good.
So we're going to do a worst case. Today's the worst case. We're going to do a best case, and then we're going to talk through it all and go through a most likely and kind of what I think is going to happen.
All right.
Yeah.
Tune in next time, folks.
Yeah.
Tune in next time.
Stay tuned.